Hi, I'm Shane Bengal with the Manna Group, and I want to come to you today give you a little bit of the market update. We are in March of 2026. The market has been very volatile. If you've experienced that as a seller or as a buyer, we have many things that are affecting what's going on. So we had very high interest rates that kind of dampened the market. We saw prices plateau. Some people were hoping for big price reductions and hey, here I'm going to get into the market when there is, we'll say people said there's going to be a crash. We have not seen that crash. I don't think we will see the crash, and that's largely because of just supply and demand. In Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint, we do not have enough homes in this area for the demand that we have. So you're going to not see that happening. If we had a huge exodus of people moving out of the area, that could be a plausibility, but we have great industry here. We have schools, we have hospitals, we have many things that will keep industry going. So currently in our microcosm of what's going on, one of the stats that I like to track. So I'll give you a little bit of the feeling. So we are feeling an uptick in activity. I talked to many realtors. I will say January, we always have this burst of activity. It's new year, new me, I'm getting a new home. And it's like same type of people that make New Year's resolutions and they end up going to the gym for 2 weeks. We get the same effect that happens in real estate. We had that. It wasn't as big of a burst as in years past, but we had that for a short time. But from then until now, it's been very dormant. We have not had a ton of activity. We've had sales that have happened that need to happen. We've had many sales kind of fail through, either buyers getting cold feet, issues with financing as money is more tight, groceries cost more money, gas costs more money, makes financing a home a little bit more difficult in this day and age. So that has been what's been happening for the last 6 to 8 weeks. So on the feeling sense, the last week of February, we saw an increase in activity. Most of my realtor partners that I talk to are like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I wrote 2 offers. I showed 50 houses and yada. Now that's just the feeling. What I'd like to point to as far as the stat to track what's going on is pending ratio. So we keep track of a lot of statistics that help us predict what's going to go on. But an easy, simple one to talk about is pending ratio. And what this means is many first sale signs that you see in front yards of houses, how many of those homes are currently under contract? Because once a house is sold, it goes into escrow for 30 days, and that is when we're in the pending status. So pending ratios have hovered in and around 20% for the last 6 to 8 months. We've seen 15, 18, 21, 22, 20. We've been hovering around the 20% mark. The last month, that jumped up to 34%. So we saw all of a sudden burst actual statistic tracking that says, hey, activity is up. More of the homes that are for sale are getting snatched up quicker. We've had multiple offers. We've had competitive situations that's happening for. I would tell you that the competition is definitely beginning in the $200,000 to $500,000 price point. I would say the $500 to $900 is still not ultra competitive, and houses are definitely moving slower in that price point. Once you get above the 900, that activity has still been pretty consistent due to the fact that there's cash buyers out there. The buyer at that buyer class is not as affected by interest rates and or the economy. So we saw that jump to 34%. We'll see what this next month does and what that brings. And to give you a little frame of reference to, hey, what does that mean? In the height of COVID 2022, when the market was buzzing and everybody was buying, there's 40 offers and everything's over list, we were at a 60% pending ratio. So, we're not in that kind of scenario. I would say what this means for you if you are a seller, the important thing of what's going on in the market right now is that buyers are entering the market on a more regular basis. We're not always in a competitive situation where you're going to get multiple offers, you're going to sell in a day and a half. But I would say expect your house to sell in the average amount of time, anywhere from 25 to 35 days on the market. You get a reasonable contract. So pricing becomes really important for sellers. Priced appropriately is crucial. For buyers, what this means is that, and I try not to be I don't want to be scary or hurry up and hustle, but we are in a window right now where I think buying, you still have a lot of advantages on your side. Sellers have been on the market through the winter or have been waiting to get their house on the market. I have 6 houses that are waiting to list. So everybody's waiting, hoping to get to May 1, and there's going to be the spring and the burst and everything's going on, and we're going to get lots of activity. So any house that is currently for sale, it may have been on the market for a longer amount of time, and the seller might be feeling a little bit more urgency to get that sold. So if you've been on the fence, like not quite sure, it might be a really good time to work on your pre-approval. Give me a call. We can talk about what's going on in the market, if buying is the right thing for your current financial situation. But that's kind of the quick snapshot of what's going on with the market right now. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out anytime, call, text, or email.